to the tune, now our projections in 11 are nearly $150 million less than they were just a couple of years ago in motor fuel. Federal, when you pump up at the tank, you pay federal and you pay state gas tax. Our state motor fuel was going down in revenues, and our federal revenues, which actually get sent to Washington and come back to us, is remaining flat or declining as well. So you combine that with the fact that we're paying more now than ever in debt service, and the expenses of maintaining roads through the years as continually creeps up. We've reached this point where the revenues are going down, expenses are going up, and we don't have the money we need to do anything. So as I develop this statewide transportation improvement program, it pushes a lot of good projects out. For instance, Leesburg Bypass, it has right-of-way money in fiscal 11 in the proposed TIF.
Yep.
But if I'm not mistaken, construction is still out a number of years. So if we can keep these costs down low, it would greatly enhance the chances of us finding money for it. So every project that we have in our program, we're going back, we call it value engineering. In fact, the legislators thought so much of value engineering, they actually required in code section that any project over $10 million, that you have to do a value engineering study. And part of my reporting requirements is I have to report for the chief engineer on the money the department saves through value engineering. So through that process, that's kind of what I want to get kind of a feel from you guys. I know, you get your heart set on a 4-lane road, but right now, you want to get something, you want a connection built.
Let me, because a lot of us aren't engineers and these are the stakeholders, let me get you to look in your book here, if you would, to the one that says Lee Northern Bypass, so we can kind of explain it a little bit, or give you something visually to look at if you don't mind. It's the second page from that. Everybody should have, this is what we're looking for, this picture here. You got that? I think the general idea, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the general idea is the original concept, which is, I want to say over $15 million, was to continue the bypass all the way across past the schools. Right here, in this area right here, is the current intersection of where the bypass dumps right here, that little part right there. What Mr. Long is suggesting and what DOT is looking at is, instead of continuing this part here, this red part here that you see, connecting with the existing bypass and going up here with 4-lane, is that you would use the drop-off point that's currently the northern end of the bypass, go up about 2,000 yards, and then have an interchange there. So you'd go up on 19 about 2,000 yards and have an interchange there that would then loop you into the new highway that would be built, that would be 2-lane with turning access instead of, so that kind of, everybody got that kind of concept in their mind?
Yeah, and just since we do our thing, I'm leaving these designs with Bob, so y'all can look at it afterwards. I've got the 2-lane option with 4 lanes of right away, and then I show the ultimate build out 4 lanes.
You're still going to go over 195.
You're still tied to 195. So, if y'all would, I'm not. That's one project in a series of projects. I'm going to leave these with the public works director here. And what he can do is, if he can gather input from you guys and get back to me, I can get back to the engineers and let them know.
I don't think anybody has a problem with anything. We're just looking for something to be done. I mean,
Well, if you want something done, you got to lower the quality. That's the issue.
I don't think I agree with you. It doesn't have to be with anything.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense to me because you've got this first the truck traffic and the school traffic out of the downtown area. And that certainly is the solution on the north side, a solution on the north side, a value engineering solution, and then still doing something with Robert.
Commissioner Rowland, this is actually in your district. Would you rather delay the program for perhaps, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 years down the road at the cost of $15 million? Or is this something you feel like that you can look at and may offer an immediate return? So
I think it's something we probably should go ahead and pursue and try to get it done to get that traffic, around that thing. But can I say one
Absolutely.
thing? Lumpkin Road right there, I preached this, and if we could get the state right there, there's so much traffic, people drive across that ditch every morning carrying their kids to school. If we could, we don't meet the 1,400 foot, I think. And I've called, I think I've talked to Mr. Sheffield, I've talked to everybody in the world, I believe. If we could just get the state to give us a variance to put a crossover right there, we've looked at it, we've went from $200,000 to $500,000. But if we could just get a variance, it's about 1,000 foot from Pinewood Road to Lumpkin Road. The road
Is that 200,000? I'm gonna ask, is that 200,000, is that local money, is that state?
that's our money that
So
we're
you're
gonna
prepared to pay for it
spend.
yourself? Has the
We're gonna
commission
pay for
approved
it.
that?
We've talked about it, we haven't
We've
approved
talked-
it.
We've talked
But
about
I think we're all on board
But
with
if
doing,
if-
improving that
We need
area.
to vet that issue.
If we could just get a variance to put a crossover, there's a tremendous amount of traffic that comes north to Lee County. We could take them right there, they could turn, they could go Lumpkin Road over to the old Smithfield Road or over to 195 to bring them into that school, and they wouldn't have to come downtown Leesburg. That would take a lot of traffic out of town.
I know we've just got a few more minutes before you have to leave, and we really appreciate you being here. I want to talk about the south end of the county for just half a second and the Westover Road extension. When that was first announced, I was
Is that the book,
thrilled to
Rick?
hear.
Is that the book, the Westover Road Extension?
I mean, when we talk about the goal number one of the Department of Transportation getting us on competitiveness and economic development, for us in Lee County, economic development is happening on the south end, primarily on the corridors of 82 and US 19. The biggest traffic congestion area in Albany proper is the 19 or the Nottingham Way crossover to Toledo Road. That's their big problem. That's the most traffic they have, and that could be relieved and also open up avenues of economic development for us with the Westover Road extension. Are we still on the table?
Is that on the list anywhere? Where are we at on that?
It's gonna be in the long-range plan, and then we'll be setting up a priority listing.
I'll explain this process to them so they understand. 'Cause you've got two things going here. You've got, Lee County, y'all have done a transportation plan. Ultimately, y'all are part of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which has to produce by federal law a transportation plan. Now, how does that interact with the state director of planning? That's the question you may have. Is that I don't circumvent any federal laws. The federal law clearly gives the lead role for transportation planning in MPO areas to the MPO, which is made up of legislative bodies. You have representation through technical staff, through Bob, and you get ultimately through the policy committee, your chairman, and others. But the law also says, not the state law, but the federal law, that you will coordinate with the State Department of Transportation on those plans. And so your plan needs to coincide with our strategies that we have statewide. So typically, every 4 years or 5 years back, they do this plan that Bob's holding in his hand. The last time that was done, does it have a date on there?
Yeah, it's 2004. We're doing an update.
Update now.
Do we know if our plans currently exist or coincide with what they're looking for?
Yes, sir. This is, the Westover Road extension is in this plan,
Okay.
which was done in
So-
And it's not currently on any list with the DOT?
But step number one, before the DOT will even consider a project in MPO area, it's got to be in that MPO plan. So that is a must. And then from there, you kind of help us set priorities for the region of what I guess what I need to hear ultimately from you guys is what are your priorities for Lee County? Obviously, money's limited. I mean, obviously, Leesburg bypass, I'm here because you got two issues. You got the downtown, which is kind of a separate thing you're doing in addition to the Leesburg bypass.
That's correct.
And so those are two major issues that you have. And now some improvements, east-west connectivity on the south end, which you're talking about, north-south connectivity there.
Yeah. And I mentioned to Mr. Longbaum about the extension of the Forester Parkway.
Yes, sir.
Spend some time with that. That was that east-west connectivity, Mr. Long, we were talking about at that intersection where the Publix is going.
The Publix is going, in fact, they're under construction as we speak, and we're looking at bringing this road, which actually starts over here at 91. We've already got a good part of this 5 miles of Forester Parkway, but we want to extend this on over to Oakland, which has got 5,300 acres that's going to be developed, mixed development over here. This also, once this is completed,